Good morning, crochet crafters. This head is a redo of my original green chicken pot holder, and it's a little different style. As you can see, it's more in keeping. This is an Amigurumi single, and then this is a half double crochet for the head. So if you are looking at my green pattern and having a hard time with that pattern, please switch over to my yellow chicken head pattern, and it's just going to show you how to do this chicken head. So once you've done that and you're here, there's some other things, elements you have to do. The puff arms, you can do the feet if you want them, and you've got to do the pot holder hook with the red fluff feathers up here, which is what we're going to work on in this particular video. So count 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the top. And if you need to use stitch markers, by all means, use stitch markers in those 6 stitches. On your 6th stitch to the right, I want you to take your crochet hook and put it through the front and the back loop. And casting your yarn on, you're going to just simply hook it around and hold it and pull it through. Then you're going to wrap it around and pull it through. So that's basically casting it on. Now, it looks like 2 stitches. It's really 1 because I'm working my tail back into my work, and the tail being the end straggler piece. If you do not want to do that, you can use a craft needle of any kind to work that yarn back in after you're done. But for all intensive purposes right now, I'm going to try to work that into my stitch. I'm going to do a double crochet in this first stitch, pretending that this is just not a stitch, it's just a cast on. And when I do that, I'm going to work my tail in. So I'm going to wrap it around, and I'm going to pull it through, wrap it around. So for all intensive purposes, I have 3 stitches on my hook. Now the yarn, again, looks on this first one looks more like than 3 because I'm working my tail in. But don't be confused. This is actually 3 stitches technically. And we're going to wrap it around and pull it through the first 2. And again, if you're not an experienced crocheter and you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So let me go back again because the yarn kind of tied. You're going to wrap it around and pull it through. And wrap it around and pull it through. I think that, yeah, that tail kind of bunched up a little bit. And you're going to wrap it around. This is going to be easier to tell. You're going to go through the same stitch again, and we're doing another double crochet. So you're going to wrap it around and pull it through the same stitch. Wrap it around, and you've got 3 on your hook. It's easier to see the 3 without the tail being worked back in. Wrap it around, pull it through 1, and then pull it through another. So that's basically your first fluffy hair piece. And if you want, I get a little bit crazy with the ends here. I just want to go ahead and cut that because I've worked my tail through. I don't have to worry about it coming apart, and I like to have it gone. So the next one, the second one, you're going to do, and there's a little piece that it didn't pick up there if you noticed. Okay, the next one you're going to do 2 double crochets in that stitch. So working the back and front loop, pull it through the first 2, pull it through the second 2, and then working that same loop again, wrapping it around. You've got 3, pulling it through the first 2, pulling it through the second 2. So look like something like that. Now, for the third one, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing, 2 double crochets, and then when you get to the end of that double crochet, you want to make a pot holder hook. So I usually chain about, I'm going to chain maybe 6, and what you can do is, if depending on how big a hook you have on your home, you can chain 8 or you can chain less than 6. It really depends on how big you want that hook on that pot holder to be. So it's going to actually kind of look like this, because remember, we're going through the 4th stitch and we're going to do another 2 double crochets. So what you want to do is, once you've made your loop as big as you want to hang your pot holder, you're going to wrap it around and you're going to go through that stitch, and you're going to, this is sometimes a little bit tough because now you've made your hook there. So see, there's your hook, and you're going to do again just the same thing with the 2 double. So there you go. So that's what my hook looks like. Again, smaller or larger, really just depends on what you want. And we're going to go ahead and finish. Now we have 6 altogether, so we want to make it even. So we have 3 here, and we're going to do 2 more in each of the last 2 to have it even on both sides. So we're going to wrap it around, go through the 2 loops, pull it through, and then again you're doing 2 into the same. And that last one might look tight, but you want to make sure you get the back and the front loop. That's always my pet peeve, is that if you forget the back loop, it's not going to look even. So you really want to make sure you pick up that back loop, and you've done 2 double crochets. Now, what you can do now, because this one that you started off with looks a little bit more like a half circle, and that's because right here you're finishing off. So what I would suggest you do is just chain 1, and then you want to cut your work right here, and you want to pull it through and tighten it. And in order to kind of give it that same look, I'm going to take my plastic needle, and I use a plastic needle. I used to use the metal ones, and I had so many sores on the end of my fingers because I would constantly hit them. Even if I didn't mean to, I would hit them accidentally. So what you want to do is, you can bring that back through down here, and if you bring it back through like that, see, you've literally created that pull tight so that on both sides it looks pretty even now, right? So, and then what you can do, tighten that, and you just kind of work it through the red. Now, there is a methodology for working stitches back in, and what most crafters do, if you want to turn this to the back, is they go to the side, up, and then down, because the theory is, when you're working this back in, there's 3 ways of doing it. It's not going to be able to become undone if you stitch it in 3 different ways, because when you put this in the wash, if you don't really secure it, what's going to happen is it's going to come undone, and then you won't have any chicken feathers. So what I've done is finish that off, and that's going to be the top. You can kind of see that pattern. That's going to be the top of my chicken head, and then add eyes and the beak and any type of tie or lace collar or anything that you want to add there, or you don't have to add anything. You can just add the eyes and the beak based on the way I did it in one of my other chicken videos. Okay, I hope this was a great tutorial for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.